Hi, I'm Nick Leiber, Small Business Channel Editor for Business Week. I'm here today with Don Signiowski and
Pleasure.
Paul Steinberg. They're both from MauMau.org. This is an independent franchising community website. This is sort of a internet phenomenon, sort of a franchising industry phenomenon, and I'm here today to ask them how it got started and to talk a little bit about the franchising industry today. Don, let's start with you. You're the founder and CEO of Blue MauMau. Just start off with the name, because the name, to me, doesn't have a lot to do with franchising, but you're going to explain.
Blue MauMau actually is a Polynesian fish. It's out of New Zealand, and as you can guess from my shirt,
A Polynesian fish out of New Zealand. This is what you named your company.
That's right, and as you can guess from my shirt, I grew up in Hawaii and so forth, and the thing about a Blue MauMau is that they get together in large schools. And they get together in schools in order to network and protect themselves from pelagic fish, sharks that might come in and eat them up. And so I thought to myself, aha, Blue MauMau is exactly what our community is about, and hence the name BlueMauMau.org.
And Paul, you are a blogger on the site. You're also a franchise attorney.
Yes, I am. I'm a former franchisee.
And you're a former
myself,
franchisee.
Yes.
Talk about what you're frequently posting about.
A lot of what I'm posting about is what I think are some of the common misconceptions about franchising. I have a lot of people, clients of mine, friends of mine, that are multi-unit owners, multi-concept owners who are very happy. And when I go on to a site like MauMau, when you look at some of the people that have problems, you can see that there's certain reasons why they're having problems. And one of them is that people don't get the information to begin with and don't understand what they're going into. So one of the things that Don's site lets us do is to talk to some of those people so that someone looking at buying a franchise can go into sites such as his Franchipedia site, and they can learn the lingo of the business and learn what to look for. And I think ultimately it makes for a happier franchise experience.
Don, why did you start the site in the first place? You had worked in the franchise industry. You had also worked in doing trade journal work.
That's exactly right. My VC friends told me that you go where the pain is in starting up new businesses. And what I heard in the franchisor side is franchises coming up after they've set up, and they would say, why didn't we know this? We looked at the Uniform Franchise Offering Circular with the disclosure documents. We did our research. These were top-notch business people, and they were somehow missing clues. One guy said, I've set it up here in New York, and why didn't the salesperson tell me that there were 3 stores before me that went under? I went to the local areas. They didn't, local stores around the area. They didn't know of those stores that had gone under. If I would have only have known that, I could have factored in the risk. I didn't. Why didn't you tell me? And I realized that there was a problem, that there was a information disconnect that had to be fixed. And so I began to think about what kind of a model would help fix that problem.
And you launched the site in 2005.
Yes, November 4th, 2005.
And a week ago you relaunched it with the redesign. What are you trying to do with the redesign?
I think that trade media is going more and more into an interactive model, and one where the reporting is mingled with expert advisors and bloggers. And so what we've done with the new site is we are merging those two. We've got the hard investigative reports that we do from reporters. We have bloggers coming in and talking about news that they know of and mingling it. And I think that's kind of I think that's where trade journalism, in my opinion, will go in the next little while. And
the bloggers are paid or unpaid? How does that work?
Volunteer.
So the entire site is volunteer?
Yes.
And you mentioned investigative reports, so that's also unpaid?
It is. I go out and do it, and then we have some other reporters from a reporting background that feel very strongly about franchising and want to get the name out, and they come in and they report stories. Janet Sparks, for example, is one of them, of our reporters.
And can just describe who she is for the...
Janet Sparks is someone that has been in the franchise industry for quite a while, for many years. She has written for Continental Review and Franchise Times and other periodicals, other trade journals, and she contributes to our site.
And perhaps both of you can answer this question, Paul and Don. But what's the reaction from the franchising industry as a whole to Blue MauMau? What are people saying within the industry?
There's an interesting split. One of the things that I noticed back in the 90s was that there were a lot of the smaller franchisors, a lot of franchisors that really felt that it was important to have good franchisor-franchisee relations, that were a little bit troubled by the industry, trade groups, lumping everybody together and not distinguishing between what made a good or bad franchisor. What you see on MauMau is you have some franchisors that post there who are very often the first people to say, yes, this particular behavior is not acceptable, and where you find that with a franchisor, don't buy that franchise. So I think that a lot of franchisors, believe it or not, are actually in favor of the site. Also because of the fact that the site brings up certain things to look for.
Well, and that's a good point, Paul, because I met with a franchisor last week, and one of the things, the feedback we were getting was, how do we differentiate ourselves? You know, we very much believe in supporting and helping franchisees, but yet it's difficult to get recognition for that. Sometimes awards can be bought. There's just a big fog out there of who the good players are. And so I think a site like Blue MauMau can identify problem areas of franchisors, but they can also identify great franchise concepts.
Well, Don and Paul, thanks for talking to me today about BlueMauMau.org. I'm Nick Leiber. I'm the Small Business Channel Editor for Business Week. Thanks very much.
My pleasure.